Jodi Picoult begins her New York Times bestselling novel 19 Minutes by quantifying time. Quote, in 19 minutes, you can mow the front lawn, color your hair, watch a third of a hockey game. In 19 minutes, you can bake scones or get a tooth filled by a dentist. You can fold laundry for 5. If you can do all of that in 19 minutes, how much could you do in an entire school year? Or better yet, how much damage could you do? How much harm can you wreak on a group of students or readers or entire communities from back to school night to summer break? Well, according to PEN America, a nonprofit organization dedicated to literary freedom, you could do an unthinkable amount of damage. 3 school years ago, PEN America recorded 2,532 instances of book bans and challenges across the country, 2,500. 2 years ago, that number rose to 3,362. And last school year, the number exploded. Last year, there were 10,046 instances of book bans across this country. 10,046. With 10,046 bans, what damage can you do? You can alienate Black and LGBTQ plus readers. You can stifle critical conversations around sexual assault and rape. With 10,046 book bans, you can tamp down critical thinking. You can suppress empathy. And what was the most commonly banned book during the last school year, according to PEN America? 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. Picoult's 2007 bestseller, a previous Velshi Band Book Club feature, follows the events before and after a deadly school shooting rocks a small New Hampshire town. It isn't, by the way, being banned for the visceral shooting scenes, however. It's being banned in large part for a single passage referring, not in a gratuitous or salacious way, to a date rape. 19 Minutes is not the only novel from Picoult's award-winning and best-selling canon to be targeted or to be successfully banned. Out of her nearly 30 books and stories, 20 have been targeted, including what many consider to be her magnum opus, My Sister's Keeper. Picoult is prolific and beloved. Her novels are fast-paced, they're well-researched and character-driven. Her work grapples with topics that Americans want to read about, topics that Americans are genuinely dealing with, including abortion, rape, fertility, LGBTQ plus rights, suicide, religion, and, of course, school shootings. About midway through 19 Minutes, there's a line that has stuck with me since I first read the book in June of 2022. Quote, "We are defined by our actions, not our thoughts," end quote. I urge every member of the Velshi Band Book Club, every reader, every student, every school board member, and every American who doesn't believe censorship should ever occur on our country's soil to act. I'm joined now by an author who I did an introduction for her, but she doesn't really need one. Jodi Picoult is the author of some 30 acclaimed novels and stories, including the Velshi Band Book Club feature 19 Minutes, her latest book, By Any Other Name. Jodi, good to see you. Welcome back to the Velshi Band Book Club. We're talking a lot about hope, things people can do, opportunities that exist in front of us. Everybody's had a little time to digest what happened last week. What is it about you? Why do so many of your books get banned and challenged?
Well, I mean, theoretically, if you ask the book banners, apparently I'm writing porn. Here's a spoiler alert, I'm not writing porn. In fact, many of the people who are banning my books have not read my books and fully accept that and say so when they ban them. You don't have to read a book to ban it in America anymore. And, I think the reason that my books tend to be banned is because, like a lot of the books that have been banned by LGBTQ and BIPOC authors, what they tend to do is encourage readers to think for themselves, and that is a very dangerous thing.
I mean, that's the thing we need, right? That's if anything,
it's totally what we need.
Yeah, if you look at our political recent history, we could do all over the world. We could do with a little more critical thinking, and that's all you're inviting people to do. You're giving people information, asking them to think.
Absolutely. And particularly in a school setting, we're talking about a lot of bans happening at the school library level. It is terrifying for parents to think that their kids might be exposed to ideas different from the ones that they believe. Because if their kids grow up and think differently from them, then we actually have progress in this country.
I got 19 minutes here. One might think, given the topic here, school shootings, that the reason this book is so frequently targeted, if one didn't know, because, as you say, a lot of people who ban books don't read them, they say, why do you think her book gets banned? Why do you think this book gets banned so much? Because it depicts school shootings, and I get that parents may not want their kids exposed to that, even though they are. That's not the point. This book is mostly challenged because of a reference to date rape. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so there's a single page 313, and the word erection is on it, and it is a date rape. It is absolutely endemic to the bullying theme in the book. It's not gratuitous, not salacious. But this is kind of what book banners have moved into. They started with LGBTQ books and authors and BIPOC books and authors, and now they're starting to look at what they call mature content, and that's anything that they find objectionable. The reason this is dangerous for most of the people watching your show is because they're not just stopping at the school library level.
Right.
Public library challenges have increased 92%. They're coming for the books you read. Fantasy, romantasy, romance, mystery, thriller, anything that they deem objectionable, they're trying to pull off shelves, not just in schools, but also now in public libraries. And that's why, I mean, you really should care and do what you can to stop it.
Right, and it's not really got to do with books you like or want. It's conceptually what's going on there. I think there are a lot of parents who say, I should have input into what my family consumes. I got no objection to that. I think there are a lot of parents who would benefit from the fact that these books are sometimes appear in school libraries, in public libraries, where the librarians have master's degrees and can help curate your child through that experience, right?
Absolutely. I mean, these are people who are educated and who are trained to decide what is age appropriate for children at a given time. There is nothing wrong with a parent monitoring what his or her child reads. There's a big problem with that parent making decisions for anyone else's child. And that's why these parental rights laws that are so poorly worded have become so dangerous. And it's why we have 10,000 individual titles banned last year alone.
Well, you obviously, in addition to being a prolific author, you engage a lot in communities, with teachers, with students. Tell me where you think we are in this. As you see, the numbers have quadrupled from a few years ago in terms of individual titles being banned. Is the pushback getting better? Is it harder? Tell me where we are.
Well, I'm sad to say that I think with the incoming administration, things are only going to get worse. We're going to see more legislatures passing parental rights laws that, again, are so poorly worded that it allows any parent to go to a school board meeting and say, I don't like this book, it's being taken off a shelf, and to have it removed from students' access. That's really problematic. I think we're going to see more of that. And because of that, I think we have to see more people speaking out. The vast majority of Americans do not want books banned.
Yep.
It's a very small group of individuals who are making this happen. We just need to be a lot louder than they are. And there are actually action steps that you can take if you, as a community member, want to do something to fight book bans. First thing you should do is talk about disinformation whenever you can. Nip that in the bud. If I had $1 for every time someone said a school book ban isn't a real ban, you can buy that book on Amazon. Those are true. But guess what? A school book ban is a ban. You know, anytime you take a book off a shelf, it is a ban. Even if it's temporary, it is a ban. So make sure you correct that language when people come at you with that. And plus, there's a reason we have school libraries. There are places in this country where people cannot afford to buy books, can't access a public library because of distance. That's why school libraries exist. If you can, run for school board. We need voices of people who oppose book banning to be on school boards, because that's how this all came about. We had a lot of Moms for Liberty running for school boards. They were the ones who were instituting a lot of these book bans. If you don't have the time to run for school board, go to school board meetings and speak out against book bans. You can send letters to your elected officials. I should mention, too, that PEN America is a terrific resource for all this. If you go to pen.org/action, you will find scripts that you can speak at a school board meeting if you don't want to come up with your own words. You can find letters, templates that you can send to your elected officials. It takes absolutely no time. If you are a kid, start a banned book club in your school. And if you have the resources, buy a bunch of banned books and stuff them in those little free libraries all over your community so that people have a chance to read them and start talking about them. But above all else, speak out.
Yep.
Don't just sit there and wait for bans to come to your community, because they will eventually. Yep. Even in very blue areas, we've had challenges. Speak out now.
Amazing, amazing advice, empowering things people can actually do. Jodi, thanks. We will always have you back. Jodi Picoult, one of our favorite members of the Velshi Band Book Club, author of some 30 novels, including 19 Minutes and her latest, By Any Other Name.